The Cruise Cast is a Triple T production. Grab a coffee and a comfy chair. It's time to unpack the cruise world with the taste, try, travel team of Beth and Chris.
Oh, is that poop? Darn gross.
Good morning, happy Sunday, and welcome to today's podcast. Today we're diving into one of the most notorious disasters in cruise history. Whoa.
Well earned, I might say.
Well, I am Beth.
I would call it the most notorious.
Yes.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Absolutely. And you are...
You're Beth. I'm Chris.
Yes.
Your taste, try, travel.
And this is our Cruise Cast podcast. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We're like, well, if someone's watching for the first time, how are they going to know who we are?
Want to introduce who we are and what we do.
That's right. So we have our channel Taste, Try, Travel, or Triple T, where we actually go out on cruises and do some really great videos. And then in between, we kind of dive into a lot more details of our trips and other things here on the Cruise Cast.
Exactly. Very good. That was a nice little introduction.
Do I get a star?
You
get a gold star.
You get a, what are these things called?
Oh, name tag.
No.
Sticky.
Oh my gosh.
Sticky note.
Sticky note. I can't even believe you ruined the surprise already.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me have a drink of my coffee.
All right.
What is that MSC Foundation? All right. What is on the agenda for today's podcast? Let's just skip right over all that.
Well, I was going to tease that we're wearing sticky notes on
We are wearing blue sticky notes.
Certainly not anything underneath that she might have mentioned earlier. Okay. Well, we're going to do a shout out. We got a good one this week.
Chris, it's time to do a shout out.
Absolutely. I'm gonna take the lead on that shout out. Then there's MSC and racing. Like, they don't just do cruises.
Not anymore.
And then we're going to move on to poop with an exclamation point. I might have put poop and then in parentheses, P exclamation point.
That's true. Can we say, though, like MSC at the movies?
What do you mean? Oh.
That's kind of what today's podcast is about.
The whole poop cast.
We're not the poop cast, okay? Please. That's what the whole podcast is about. MSC on the big screen.
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
All right. Let's start out with your shout out.
Okay. So there's a tiny little bit of history to my shout out today. This started way back when we were invited on the inaugural of the Wonder of the Seas.
Yes. Did we invite ourselves by paying?
We invited ourselves onto the Wonder.
But it was the inaugural, which was really, it was a fun cruise. Yeah. Absolutely.
And we were in the promenade and we just got to talking to this gentleman, and he mentioned that, because we don't cruise Royal Caribbean very often.
Well, at that point, we hadn't really cruised. We cruised a lot, but never enough with one cruise line to gain any loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we certainly hadn't done it on Royal Caribbean.
No.
We have been on like 4 maybe or something like that, cruises with Royal Caribbean at that time. So I didn't know there's a whole story behind their loyalty program. They have levels just like every loyalty program. If you're not familiar with loyalty programs, it's with everything else. Every other business almost in the world. Yeah. Yep. As you cruise, you get points. You move up their little ladder. It starts at like cardboard level, and then stone.
Oh, okay.
And then cement.
These are not right, but we're letting Chris have his joke.
And then you go into stainless steel.
Okay.
They usually have, cute little names for each level. And the top loyalty level on Royal Caribbean is called the Pinnacle Club. Well, evidently, when you reach the Pinnacle Club level, you get a name tag. At one point, I wasn't quite sure, and it's kind of, when I researched it, I'm still not sure, and I've read lots on it. If I know they used to give out name tags.
Can't imagine they do that anymore, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure they do it anymore. Anyway, whether you got one from them officially or, as this gentleman told us, there are many people who make their own name tag that says their name below. It says Pinnacle Club.
And then they'll have their name.
And then their name is below it.
Yeah.
And I have kind of blurred out the name below this picture.
Gotcha. Okay. Because
I'm going to make fun of these people.
Okay. Yes, I remember that. I don't remember it being a hey, this is wonderful. I remember this is.
He told us they're very snooty.
We are better than you. Look at our name tag.
And if you wear a name tag that announces your loyalty level,
if you feel you have to do that,
I'm already going to assume that you're pretty proud of yourself.
Right.
That's all. That's maybe snooty.
Yeah.
But you're definitely proud of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to make sure that everybody else on the cruise knows
who you are and how much money you've spent.
Exactly. And you have been doing it for a long time. You ain't no newbie on this Royal Caribbean ship. So he was telling us all about this, and it blew our minds.
Yeah.
That there were people that did that.
Yeah.
So I kind of made up at the time, I'm going to start my own loyalty level. And since we cruise with MSC so much, I was going to make it one better than their diamond. They didn't have blue diamond at the time.
Yeah.
Now they have blue diamond, but this is still one better than the blue diamond. Yeah. And I was going to call it the double black diamond super fun time level.
Yes.
Oop.
You've been saying that for so long. I lost
you for a second, but you're back on.
I'm back.
So I was going to call it this double black diamond super fun time level.
Totally making fun of.
Absolutely. Because what's better? They can't even name one better than the double black diamond super fun time.
Nope.
And if I put that on a name tag with my name below it, everybody on that ship is going to know I am important.
That's right.
Well, I've been saying this for
I'm rolling my eyes.
Years now.
Yes.
And I haven't done it yet. Well, our shout out is going to Chuck Glidden.
This is awesome. Who made Chris a special name tag.
He has heard me say that for probably a while.
Yeah.
Because he says in his post that he put it on our Facebook page. So after hearing about it and how disappointed Chris always is when he boards an MSC ship and it's not there, meaning the card that says he made me a card, basically, that says that's double black. He's got 2 diamonds on it.
Yeah.
I decided to take matters into my own hands. Here it is, Chris, your very own membership level. He's got me the card there, and he has inspired us.
That was great.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Chuck. That was an inspiration to us. You did an awesome job. So much so, you have inspired us.
Hold on.
Yeah, I gotta take out these. Ready?
3, 2, 1. What? We are wearing name tags. Chris is going to show them. And what do they say?
We have made our own name tags that...
Sorry, mine isn't very visible where I'm at.
I've got it up on the screen, don't you?
Yeah.
That say, that are the Voyager Club. Double Black Diamond Super Fun Time on the name tag.
Yep.
Letting everybody know what level we are.
Yep.
With my name on mine that says founding member.
Yep. Which you are.
Yep. On yours, same thing. Yours is membership pending, obviously.
I'm not quite there yet.
When you are able to pull out of the air the actual name of the loyalty level that we're at, you can never remember Double Black Diamond Super Fun Time.
All the time. Because there was cardboard in there for a little bit.
Well, we were never cardboard.
No, but you were making fun, and you've had a couple different names over the years, and so I can't quite remember it.
Just when you're trying to think of a name, just think of like the best Japanese game show ever, which is Double Black Diamond Super Fun Time.
Yeah, that sounds a little Japanese.
Like if that came on TV and I knew it was from Japan, I'm not leaving the TV.
That's right.
I will watch every episode.
Well, here's the question. Are we going to actually wear these on a cruise?
Hell to the yeah.
Okay, so...
And I'm not saying anything like it's a joke. I'm not going to say anything to people.
Completely serious.
They are going to think I am...
They're going to think we are...
An
snooty.
ass,
Yes.
A jerk.
And you're fine with that?
And I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
For wearing this thing that announces my level as Double Black Diamond Super Fun Time.
I need to wait until someone reads mine and asks why my membership is pending. And we'll see. We'll have made it. We will have achieved at that moment.
I predict not one single person will ask me anything. Maybe they will. Maybe somebody
see his name tag.
Maybe somebody will have a sense of humor and be like,
"It's all fun. It's all in fun."
What are you doing wearing a name tag? But I'm betting that most people will be like, and then walk back to their party and be like, "I saw this.
Did you see?
I saw this guy over there, and he's made his own name tag."
Maybe we'll start a what's the word I'm looking for? And then other people will start wearing name tags. We'll start a
viral trend.
A trend.
People make
we'll go viral.
Their own. So on this episode, I will be constantly wearing my Double Black Diamond Super Fun Time. Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah, I'm wearing mine, but probably not in the best spot. So
that's right.
That's okay. Okay.
For inspiring us to finally get these done.
That's right. They're professional made too.
We have your card. We're gonna have to get that card printed. You're gonna move to the other side so everybody can see it. Okay. We're gonna have to get that card printed so that I can take that card on and maybe just like hold
flash
it up to as I'm walking around. Just kind of do one of these.
I'm not only Double Black Diamond.
I'm sorry. I need to get a piece of pizza. Can you hold my Double Black Diamond Super Fun Time loyalty level card while I grab this pizza?
Let's go to the next. Racing MSC.
MSC at the movies. What is going on?
Screen. So MSC has always had a connection. Well, not always, but for a very long time had a connection with Formula One. I don't know why. I probably should have looked at that before. But something to do with the owners. It's something.
Racing is so much bigger in Europe than it is here.
Yeah.
It's big here, but it's usually like NASCAR or maybe Indy a little bit. But Formula One is gigantic in a lot of the world, not necessarily here. We have a few Grand Prix here, but everywhere else it's big, especially in Europe, and they were a European cruise line. So it made sense that they sponsored.
The Apontes, the actual family, has some kind of connection there as well. So yeah, they're sponsors. So they've been connected with F1 racing for a while, and if you notice in the majority of their ships, they actually have the F1 simulators, which I have a really funny story, because I tried it on this last cruise. And so Formula One, F1 is this new movie that came out with Brad Pitt. Let me just say, it is a really good movie. You guys should go see it.
It is
very well done.
Just really quick, since you brought that up. Don't wait for this to go to your TV.
Yeah.
Unless you own a 70-foot TV.
Right.
Not a 70-inch, a 70-foot TV.
Yeah.
It is spectacular.
Well, we went
on a big screen.
And we went to the theater that has the like effects. So like your chair has like sound, and your chair like moves a little bit, so you get more of like the full experience. But it was beautifully shot, and the story was good. It was a really good movie. So anyway, it's about Formula One racing, and Brad Pitt is one of the characters, and there's just MSC like everywhere. Now, it's not MSC Cruises.
You know what
Did you know? So it's just like MSC. So it's just like the parent company. So it just says MSC.
Well, I did notice that. They use their cruise logo and then just MSC next to it. Doesn't say cruises below it.
No.
So they're kind of covering both
of them.
Can I just say real quick about the plot? You know what I was thinking about this after we saw it?
Yeah.
Like last night when I'm not going to sleep and I'm thinking about
that's usually when we think of things
that make that absolutely don't matter.
Yeah.
It's A Star Is Born. It's the story of A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
Except racing. That's exactly what the story is. It's A Star Is Born F1.
I can see that. Yeah.
It is really good.
Yeah, it really is good. But you see, it's just funny because when you're used to seeing MSC, you know, like even if you like see a shipping container going down the freeway and it's MSC, you're like, oh, there's MSC. Yeah. So you see it all over their uniform. So they have a huge presence in there. But it was just such a well done movie. And I would say Chris is more of like a movie snob, and he actually really enjoyed it. So it was just kind of fun to see that big a presence. Yeah, absolutely beautifully filmed. Yeah,
filmed movie.
Yeah,
I mean, just spectacular. It's the best racing movie I've ever seen. There's not a ton of racing movies out there, but it is by far the best racing movie.
So I'm kind of glad that like MSC is connected to a very well made movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And their branding is
spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's subtly in there. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Because they sponsored F1 and the car.
Right.
So they're part of the movie because they signed a licensing agreement. So
yeah. So let me tell you this. So perk for your loyalty, if you are gold, diamond, blue diamond, double black diamond, super fun time.
Exactly why your membership is pending.
You get a free ride in the F1 simulator on the ships if they have it. And we haven't done it before. In this last cruise that we were on, what were we on? Seascape? I don't know. World America.
The World America?
That's right. Listen, they kind of blend after a while, okay? We're on the World America, and I'm like, I want to use it. And so, how hard can it be? It's like, I like racing, like video games and stuff. Yeah. You know, I'm usually pretty good at that.
Drifting and Need for Speed. And all those little video games.
First of all, you cannot be claustrophobic if you are going to do this simulator, because it is this tight little space. It is deep down. They actually, just like in the F1 cars, they'll take the steering wheel out so you can get in, and then they'll put the steering wheel in.
And the little cage.
And the did they lower something?
Didn't they lift the cage up kind of like this?
Maybe.
And then you got in, and they put it down?
There was a little I was a little insecure because it was such a tight little spot and I wasn't sure. And so you get in
I'm not even sure I can fit it.
No, you would be miserable if you did.
Yeah.
It was just small and it's all metal. I don't remember anything soft about this. And so you're sitting in there and they have the screens around and you have all of this. It's not a steering wheel. Like it's a computer. There's like all of these buttons. I have no idea what they do. They shift and da-da-da-da-da-da. One goes reverse. Anyway.
They literally... Just while you're on that, they literally have modes on that you can try the simulator in. They have a mode that's exactly like a real F1 car, which I think he started you on, and you couldn't even move.
No,
you couldn't even get going.
No. So he then turned to the baby mode for me.
Exactly.
And then I crashed 18 times and I didn't even make it around. It's so difficult. So it's just very immersive because I'm uncomfortable. I'm tight. I suffer around my head. I don't know what the steering, it's the worst part. The worst part.
Yeah, go ahead.
Once I failed, okay, that was it. I'm done. Let me get out of here. He takes the steering wheel off, opens whatever the cage was, and I can't get out. There's nowhere to lift myself. Do you remember Chris had to help drag me out of there? And I'm yeah, I probably won't do that again. Maybe fun for kids who are much better at this, but I think at my age, I'm tapping out of the F1 simulators. It's so real.
It is. There's a couple scenes in the movie where they do simulators. It looked. I lost you again. What's going on with your camera? It's all glitchy and everything. Yeah, don't move very much.
Okay, I think I'm back.
Anyway, there's a couple scenes where they're in a simulator, and it's just a bigger version of that simulator that's on the ship. Yeah, they have a nice big round screen, and you have 4 screens, or 3 screens, or something on the ship. So, have
you guys done F1 simulator? Would you do it? Give it a try. If you haven't, it's free. If you have that loyalty, it's definitely worth it. But it was definitely not a kid's game. I mean, you felt like this was for real.
Kids might be better at it.
They would be better. Absolutely, they'd be better. But check out the movie F1.
You won't regret it. Like I said, don't wait for it to go to your television because you'll miss how
beautiful it is in the big screen.
How intense and
that's the word.
Spectacular it is on the big screen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right.
So the main feature.
Poop! Exclamation point.
The Poop Cruise. So there is a series on Netflix called Trainwreck.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so they have a series. There's several different things. I think they had Astro World as one. They have different. It's like a whole series of things go wrong.
Exactly.
Epically. So this one just came out. I know I've seen a lot on Facebook. I know a lot of people are watching it. If you haven't, you've got to watch it.
Yeah, if you're watching this on Sunday.
It just came out.
What is it, the 29th?
It just came out on Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, it just came out this week. So it's probably all over your feed if you have Netflix. But yeah.
I think the reality... Okay, so I remember this. I don't remember too much about it. I just remember the red bags, and it was horrible, but not to the extent that we saw in this documentary.
No. And I'll go through. I'm just going to tell on ourselves a little bit.
Sure.
We haven't necessarily been the biggest fans of Carnival.
No. I think,
we go on Carnival. Mm-hmm. But it's not been our favorite line.
As we've gotten older,
So when this happened, we were like, oh, it's Carnival. Sounds horrible.
Right.
Sounds like they had a big problem.
Right.
And that's kind of all we really thought about.
But they were having a lot of not this to this extent, I don't think, but they were having struggles with fires and different things for a while during that period. So, in my mind, what?
During that period?
Yeah. those many
they
years.
Still struggle with fires.
Let's go back to some basic background information. So this happened on the Carnival Triumph. She was a Destiny class cruise ship that came out in 1999. It is over 2,700 passengers and 1,000 crew. This particular cruise went out of Galveston, Texas on February 7th. She was going to be a 4-day trip. So I'm trying to think, was it a Sea Day, Cozumel, and a Sea Day?
Yes.
Yeah, because it was just 4 nights really. So over 4,200 people were on board. So this ship was packed. If there's typically 2,700 plus 1,000 crew, there was all those rooms, all those cabins were like maxed out.
Pretty much.
There was a lot of people. 4,200 people on there. They had their wonderful sea day. They had a wonderful day in Cozumel. And then this happened early in the morning on their last sea day as they were headed back to Galveston.
Yeah, so they left at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that, out of Cozumel.
Cozumel, going slow because they had a whole
Yeah, they didn't have to hurry.
Yeah. So this, we're not going to go through like step by step. We're just going to kind of give you kind of highlights on it. But this ship had problems before. So
specifically, like, it was a fire.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what started. So it started about 5:30 in the morning, woke everybody up.
There's a fire in the generator.
Yeah.
Room.
In the engine room. Yep.
And it had fires in the generator room before, the engine room.
It had, yeah.
So this wasn't.
So probably the crew wasn't
new.
like real surprised about this.
Yeah, they were like, oh my goodness, fire.
Yeah.
The third time in the last 4 years.
Right. Okay, but let's stop and talk about, you just left Cozumel. You were probably drinking a lot. And this is what these short cruises were, right? They were an escape and they were a party cruise, and that's what they were. And you drank.
We've been on
absolutely
4-day Carnival cruises.
The 3 and 4 days. That's what they're for.
That's all it was people eating as much as they can and drinking as much as they can.
Yep.
Which leads to peeing and pooping as much as you can.
Yes. So if you think about it, at 5:30 in the morning, the alarm goes off. It has to wake most people. Probably doesn't wake everybody, but most people up, and they get them all out. Do they make them go out?
Well, according to the documentary, the crew did get a lot of people, but then I imagine before they were able to get to everybody, the other passengers were going along and knocking on doors and telling people, you got to grab your life vest and get to the deck.
They get the fire out.
Get to your muster station.
They think it's all good, right? They get the fire out.
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to go details of all the times, but anyway, things start just going downhill and they lose power. All power. And it turns out, and they show you this picture of these melted wires in the engine room. Whatever the fire did, it just, they're like these massive banks of.
It's the main bus lines for the electricity.
It's just it's just, you can't even determine one wire from the other. It's just all melted together.
It's probably just one solid piece. So
there's no fixing that, right? So power is out. So
and the head engineer says 0 chance that we'll be able to restore the power.
Yeah. And when is it? February. But it's still hot. Like, it's still the Caribbean. They're pretty much close to Mexico. So the Caribbean on a ship that has a frick ton of people in it, and there's no air conditioning. The coolers and the freezers are starting to go out for the food, and there's only a certain time limit you can have on that stuff before you can't serve it, because it becomes unsafe at that point. And you're talking hours. So they like get together what they can. And if you can, I mean, just imagine the chaos. And this isn't even before it got bad.
Right.
There was a fight for food on the first day.
Well, exactly, because they immediately, within 3 or 4 hours, because this happened early,
Yeah.
in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So by the next morning, they've already thrown out a ton of food.
Yep.
Because it's past that
Yep.
3. I don't know.
It's 4 hours, but it's also
4
the
hours.
temperature of the food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's past that.
Yeah.
They can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
They can't.
So people are like going through and they're hoarding food. They got like, if they're serving hot dogs, they're taking like a dozen hot dogs. And at this point, people are already dragging mattresses out onto deck because there's no power inside.
Normally, people only take like 8 hot dogs.
Exactly.
And on this cruise, they took like 10.
They were literally anything they could get their hands on, and they'd bring it back to their little mattress. They had pulled mattresses.
Can I just say real quick? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I just want to. Do you remember on the World America when they opened the pool deck little snack bar and they put the pizza out, and there was
2 dozen.
Everybody swarming that and just like grab it and chat. Mm-hmm. Imagine that times 1,000.
I can't.
1,000 people. Like, just give me a sandwich.
Well, because when you're in a stressful situation like that, it's very eating, right? You want to eat. You got probably a lot of people hungover still, and it just started to go further down that day, and
temperature starts going up. Lack of food, even a lack of alcohol because they closed bars. They closed the bars
that first day. What were you saying that I was going to say something? Yeah, because there was like lines. They said like hours long just to get food.
3 hour long lines
just to get food, and then. You know, what they had was just, I can't even imagine. So let me just, if you can picture this at this point, you can't get back to your cabin. You've dragged your mattress, which, I mean, that's crazy to begin with.
You can get back to your cabin. It's just temperature's rising.
You can't spend time in there.
Sweltering.
Yeah.
Because there is no air movement, no air conditioning, nothing in those enclosed spaces.
Yeah. And then the worst happens.
Well, how is a toilet system on a ship work?
With a power pump.
It is electrical, and it creates a vacuum in the line so that when you press the little button that's behind your toilet, it opens the seal, and the vacuum that is created by that electricity sucking out the air.
Okay.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yes. Got a little excited.
Yeah, you did.
The vacuum is sucking out the air. It's completely creating a vacuum. It just sucks whatever's in your toilet bowl down into that line.
Right.
And so you sucks it.
Done. It's gone. Yeah. Not really gone, but yeah.
That vacuum doesn't last very long without it being constantly, it gets weaker and weaker. And on a ship, I can't even imagine how long that would have lasted without electricity. Maybe half an hour. I don't even know if it would have lasted that long.
Yeah.
Because that vacuum, every time you do it, it's going to, it's not a vacuum anymore.
Nope.
Now it's got a little more pressure.
Yeah.
Now it's got, and then it equals out and nothing is moving anymore.
Right. It's still going down.
Yeah, it'll still.
But so.
Yeah.
As they're realizing that this is happening, they're realizing that toilets are not going to work for very much longer. So they tell people to pee in the shower because there's no vacuum there. That will just go down into a tank or whatever system they use for that. So at this point, you've dragged your mattress because you want somewhere. You're fighting for a deck chair. Can you imagine fighting on a normal day by the pool for a deck chair? You're just fighting for a space up on deck where you're not having to die from heat. You're hoarding whatever food you can get. You maybe like say if Chris and I were there, we found a little corner, he would probably send me out to go get food while he protected his little space. So like everyone has to like fight for their space at this point. They're starting to tie sheets up over them so the sun is not just baking them. And there's no toilets. So there's public restrooms beside your rooms, right? And so people are using those, going around the ship, finding whatever they can. Second day at sea comes around. Now there's it's like tent city, right? Yes.
Sorry, I just want to say, I don't know if you said it. If you did, I didn't hear you. So Carnival Triumph had radioed Carnival and said, what's going on? Mm-hmm. We have no power. We can't go anywhere. And I don't know if that was coming up, if you were going to cover that. Carnival said, all right, we're going to send a tug from Cozumel.
Progreso, Mexico.
In Mexico to come get you. Mm-hmm. Well,
that's what
Triumph
I was going to,
is, sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry if I'm stepping on you. Triumph has drifted now because they have no power.
Right.
And they are drifting farther and farther and farther
into the
middle away from Mexico.
Yeah.
And they are now out in the middle of the
So they drifted about 150 miles, it says. 150 miles off the Yucatan Peninsula. So
at some point, they figure out that tug, that tug is canceled. Mm-hmm. They're too far out there. Mm-hmm. Now they're going to send a tug from New Orleans, Galveston,
Mobile, Alabama.
I can't remember where
somewhere in there. Yeah, the coast.
Yeah, Mobile.
Yeah,
to come get them, and they're in the middle of the Gulf. So it's going to take how many days?
I think it took 5 total.
So they said another 2 days, 3 days, I think they announced. So it'll be another 3 days before, because it's going to take 2 days to get the tug out there, a day and a half.
Yeah.
And then another day and a half or 2 days to
bring it back.
To bring it back to Mobile, Alabama. So the next day, that's where you would.
Okay, well, I was going to say, so conditions are deteriorating very quickly, but we found something to be really funny. So Chris has a picture up there where it's just like, I cannot imagine being in this situation where we have found our space. We are searching for food, water. They give us red plastic bags to poop in because the toilet system no longer works.
So
no longer works at this point.
That whole day, people are angry they're not getting the food. They're upset they're not getting their alcohol. Mm-hmm. They're upset because they have to go out on deck because it's so hot.
Yep.
They know it's going to be at least a couple more days of this, same conditions. And because they've been told they have to poop in a bag, 90% of passengers say, I'm not pooping in a bag. So they have gone ahead and pooped as well as peed in the shower drain all day and night long. And they wake up to
the drains are just like, we're done with whatever's going on. And now
the system has backed up completely.
Yep.
And now it is overflowed out of every drain, every toilet on the ship. And this is a picture of, just so people that are listening, this is a picture of somebody. This is a crew member. This is down lower. And I imagine lower was way worse. Because that has to fill up a little bit more before the next one has to fill up. So they're getting even more overflowing. Yeah. This is a crew member, but who got up and stood in 3 inches
of sewage water.
Of sewage.
In flip-flops.
I would kill myself.
So, well, this is where I'm going next.
Yes, he was in flip-flops.
I need you to understand the mentality that Chris would be having at this point. One, we would have found a corner somewhere. Chris cannot handle germs, number one, just in general. You cannot handle chaos like that. Your body has 100% shut down. You will not drink or eat because you don't want to deal with anything else coming out. Period.
100% correct.
You would be curled up in a corner.
On the I would be on the mast.
Furthest away from any person who has germs.
I would have taken my belt and strapped myself to a mast up on the top of the ship.
To be away from everybody. I don't even think he would let me near if I've had to walk around the ship to find stuff. Because he would not go out to find anything. So I would probably be able to be close to him, but no, don't get near me at this point. So I'm watching this. I'm like, Chris would just have completely shut down. So they're talking about so anyway, I want to say something else about they decided to open the bar the next day, which I think is a funny choice. I'll have to see what you guys think. But what we found really funny was Carnival corporate knows what's going on. They don't know the severity of it, really. They choose to put out the most limited information possible, thinking nobody needs to know anything else. It's stranded. We're working on it.
We lost power. There was a small fire. It's out. Everybody's fine.
Made it super like, oh, it's no big deal. So day 2 or 3, another of their cruise ships comes by. They can't really get the people off of the Triumph. But the people on the Triumph realize that other ship is close enough, they might be able to get internet. So all of them are at their back of the ship with their phones trying to get internet to let their family know they're okay. Then the real story starts coming out. I think it's so funny how Carnival didn't want the real story to come out. And they did not get ahead of the situation at all. And then when everyone got phone service from this other ship that was hanging out, seeing, I don't know what they were trying to do, maybe get some supplies to them or something. Everyone started calling home and telling them about these red bags and how horrible it was. I think even some pictures got sent. And then that's when the story completely blew up and was completely out of Carnival's hands.
So in the documentary on Netflix, they mention they have the man who was in charge of the press releases. Yes. I doubt he works for Carnival anymore.
I don't think so.
And like you said, he just put out the simple little, there was a small fire, lost power, everybody's fine. That's basically it.
Yeah. Very limited information.
I don't know what was going through his head or Carnival's head. They knew this was going to get out.
Exactly.
The people that were radioing Carnival told them exactly what was going on the ship. Yep. They knew that there was chaos, open sewage all over the ship.
Yep.
People weren't getting food.
Yep.
People were having to make refugee camps on the deck.
Mm-hmm.
they knew that this story was going to get out. I don't understand why they didn't get in front of it and just let people know. But I think that's just a PR mindset,
right? Is
try to minimize bad and accentuate good. So people are really enjoying the new mixed drink that we're serving them. Oh, and we had a fire and
exactly. Yeah, that's when it just like the news went crazy when they got this information from the families because they didn't get it from Carnival. And that's how it kind of got its nickname of the poop cruise. That's so,
let me just
I was going to say, then they were open the bar.
If you were going to
you're good.
Let it go. I was just going to play our favorite.
So yeah, at this point, whatever day we're on, 3, 4, whatever, it's, you know, I think it's funny because on there it says there was a rumor that there was a bathroom that actually worked. And I think that was so freaking funny that people were searching. They're searching for this one bathroom that was going to work. And this is another part we both just
I feel like
died laughing.
Yeah, because I feel like it was almost like... I don't know how many out there have seen Waterworld, but there's like a rumor that goes around. There's actually dry land.
That's right.
We don't live in a completely covered world covered with water. There's an actual poop. I mean, there's actual toilet that doesn't have poop in it because
it works.
It works.
Like that.
So people are telling other people because the situation is people are not using the red bags, like I said before.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to use those red bags to poop in. Yeah. So they're just pooping in toilets.
Or if they use them, they're like just leaving them around and the smell has just been... So
in the documentary, one of the chefs on board said... He's the same way. Nope. I'm not using. So I'm going to go try to find a toilet.
So this clip is that. But can you imagine if there's that rumor, how many people are now trudging around inside and outside all through the sewage, in and out of bathrooms looking for the one mystery bathroom.
And they finally just give up and go.
Yeah. Exactly.
And this is what it produces. This is what
we laugh so
his
hard
experience.
At this. Yeah.
My favorite clip from the whole.
I really had to go. Number 2. And I found this public restroom and I go inside. And it was the most nastiest thing I have ever seen in my life. People were covering the poop with the toilet paper and then again pooping on top of it. So it was a layer after layer after layer. It was like a lasagna.
That is my favorite clip in the world.
It's a poop lasagna.
It's a poop lasagna. I want to make a shirt that says poop lasagna. Nobody will buy that.
That gives you such a visual. We've all been in truck stop bathrooms that don't work. I just can't imagine that everywhere. Once again, Chris is curled up in a corner and not moving.
If I opened a door to a restroom and there was a poop lasagna, there's no point in living anymore for me. There's none.
So they eventually got, I can't remember, like, let me say, this is one of the parts. They eventually got towed back and it was... Oh, I wanted to say they opened the bar.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to talk about.
On one of the days, they decided just to open the bar.
Like the third or fourth day, I think. Fourth day.
Free alcohol. Anything alcohol that they could, get rid of. And I'm sure they were pouring straight because they didn't have a lot of like fruit juice mixers and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. Do you think... I mean, it probably was a good distraction, but I can't imagine, like, I think that made it. And then, of course, fights broke out. People were throwing the red bags at each other. Like, I mean, I
definitely a bad decision.
I don't think that helped that situation.
That was a bad decision. Whoever did that was like, didn't really think of the consequences of...
Because then there's going to be more.
Get drunk while they have no access to food or
limited food, limited water. So yeah, it was just in the heat. Oh my gosh.
Heat and human excrement everywhere. Right. You don't drop a bunch of drunk people in that situation.
Oh my gosh.
And it's exactly what they decided to do to make people happy, basically.
So, how are we doing on time? We need to kind of wrap.
49 minutes.
Okay, I want to wrap this.
Okay.
They get back. They're towed back. Carnival is going through a PR nightmare, right? And these people want to sue Carnival. I want to read you exactly what Carnival had in their ticket contract that everyone signed or checked if you wanted to cruise with them. You had to agree to this paragraph that was in their ticket contract. And this is what it said.
Right.
It no longer says this.
Right. So the lawyer for the people suing Carnival, brought the suit, and Carnival said, well, listen, people have signed when they buy their ticket, they're basically agreeing to the terms that are in the ticket. And here's one of the terms.
Here's one. This lawyer. Is what it says. Carnival makes absolutely no guarantee for safe passage, a seaworthy vessel, adequate or wholesome food, and sanitary and safe living conditions. So every single one of those went wrong. Every single one of those went wrong. But you agreed to, Carnival's not going to guarantee any of that. Which
we're not going to guarantee that you are going to have food.
Nope.
We're not going to guarantee that
anything's safe or sanitary.
That the ship that you're on is safe at all and it might go out of the harbor and sink.
Is that the ultimate definition of like lawyerese?
Corporate lawyers.
Corporate company.
Let's put a phrase in there that covers every single thing that could go wrong.
And on this cruise, every single one of those went wrong. Now, nobody actually reads those, so nobody would know that. But the question is, would you still cruise with a company that literally says this in their contract? Yeah, lots of people still would, because lots of people still do. Well, they don't really have that anymore in their.
Yes, I would. Here's why. One, I know that's lawyer speak. Mm-hmm. That's just what lawyers do. Let's try to cover everything so that we have no possibility of getting sued. Mm-hmm. Number two, there's not a chance that's going to hold up in court.
Yeah, no.
There's not a chance that a judge or any jury would go, you bought a ticket on a cruise ship and the cruise ship just can tell you, yeah, you're not going to be safe on this ship.
Exactly.
They're going to be like, there's a reasonable expectation when somebody buys a ticket on your ship that you will provide safe passage for them.
I can't believe that was
and safe food.
Right.
And all of those things. So it's lawyers trying to do lawyerly things, but that ain't going to fly. No. Which in this whole situation with Carnival and Triumph, it didn't fly. They settled out of court.
They did. Well, Carnival wasn't like liable. They weren't found liable in court, but Carnival did. They refunded their ticket. They gave them a little bit of money, and they gave them a next free cruise. Some craze like that. But I think in court they settled individually.
Yeah, they ended up settling money. All of the lawsuits that came against them because there was no way they were going to be able to win any of that. It was way cheaper for them to settle than to go to court.
Yeah. So what does this teach us for any cruise that we go on if the possibility of this perfect storm happens? Bring hand sanitizer with you.
Yes, from now on, after watching this documentary, I will be bringing a Bubble Boy suit.
Bubble Boy suit.
So it literally, every single thing that goes into the bubble is completely filtered and clean. I am completely separated from the rest of the germ world. That's what it's taught me.
Cannot express to you guys how much this would cause PTSD for anybody, honestly. But so much so for Chris, I'm not sure he would cruise again.
No, I wouldn't. And it's
you
amazing.
You guys don't see this side.
It's amazing that some of the people were like, yeah, we still cruise, that were on the documentary.
Yeah.
If this had been one of my first experiences.
Well, I definitely wouldn't cruise with Carnival.
No. But even then, I probably would have been like, nah, that's all right. I don't need to get on a cruise again.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I mean, if 1 out of the 4 cruises that I had been on had been this experience.
No.
Now, I'm not 25% chance this is going to happen. No, thanks.
No. So have you guys seen it? How would you react if you were on that? I don't know. I think both of us would just separate ourselves as much as possible, not interact with anybody. I'll probably stand in line for food if we have to, and then just curl up and hope someone rescues us before we die.
I would have skyjacked, boat jacked.
You'd have jumped in the water, so the tender would have had to pick you up,
and then be like, "Take me to Cuba."
That's right.
I want to go to Cuba.
That's right. Anyway, that is today's podcast.
That's it.
Oh my goodness. It's amazing to watch. I'm so glad people took videos on their phones of that, because you have to see it to really understand the depth and horror of what they went through. Amazing. I'm so glad that hasn't scarred us, and we never had any kind of issue when we've been cruising. So now we can keep cruising. My biggest thing that's ever gone wrong on a cruise is sometimes they don't have cookies. That's enough for me. That is enough. That's enough for me. That's your limit. All right. Thank you guys. Yeah, let me thank Chuck one more time for inspiring our name tags. Name tags. All right. We have more of MSC World America coming out. A couple more videos of that. And we will continue throughout the summer with our Triple T Cruise Cast. We hope you guys have a great weekend. We will see you next weekend. Bye, everybody. Bye.